Hello and welcome to today's Root Chakra yoga sequence. In this sequence, we're going to be focusing on the root both in our bodies and with our body's relationship to the earth. That means we're going to be grounding ourselves in our body, taking ourselves inward, really focusing on the seat of our stability in the pelvis and the base of the torso. But it also means we're going to be really feeling the power that we can use and leverage in our bodies when we root and ground ourselves into the earth. I hope you enjoy this practice and that it leaves you feeling more centered, more grounded, and more connected as you go about the rest of your day. Namaste. We're going to begin our practice in a reclined bound angle pose. So you can use a bolster if you have it, or just a set of pillows and a blanket to support your head. We're going to sit with the base of the spine at the edge of those pillows. Bring the soles of the feet together and slowly release your spine down onto the bolster. Drop your hands to the side, palms facing up, and draw your attention to the breath. With each inhale, imagine the energy lengthening up through the crown of the head. With each exhale, sinking down lower to the bolster, to the ground, allowing your body to melt back to its roots. As you inhale, pay attention to where the breath is going in your body. Let it fill the spaces that connect to the earth. Let it extend down from the chest into the belly and back, down into the hips and the pelvic floor. Inhaling to fill those areas with air and life and energy, and exhaling, allowing them to relax and let go of tension. This is a great time in your practice to set an intention. And if nothing comes to mind, I offer up strength to sit with our bodies as they are, not as we wish they were. The strength to draw from our innermost power, and the strength to allow ourselves to sink and relax and ground as we need to throughout our days and weeks. Stay here with your breath for 3 more deep inhales. After that final exhale, bringing the hands to the thighs, raising the knees up, maybe windshield wiper the knees out a little bit from side to side. Just feeling the sensation after that big inner thigh stretch. Draw your hands to your sides and slowly push up off of your bolster. And move it to the side for now. And we're going to come up into a wide-legged child's pose. So Big toes come together, knees extend towards the outside of the mat. Lift the tailbone slightly as you extend the arms forward and slide down from the hips to rest the forehead on the ground. You may make this pose as active as you like, reaching energy through the fingertips, feeling how grounded your toes, your shins, your forehead, and your forearms are. Perhaps you tent the fingers slightly, drawing energy up through the earth into the fingertips and the palm of the hand. Feeling that energy extend all the way up through the arms and shoulders and into the back body as you breathe deeply. As you breathe, feel the breath fill the back of the body, lifting us away from our roots into the ground, and then sinking back down as we exhale. On your next inhale, draw the palms under the shoulders, press up, and come into a tabletop position. Wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Spread the index finger through the pinky finger wide, pressing through all the fingertips and the knuckles on your palm. Draw those thumbs just a touch closer towards the index finger so they're not strained. And root strongly up from the palms of the hand up through the shoulders. Take a few breaths here, feeling that power you draw up from the rootedness of your palms. Root to rise. The more you press into your roots, the higher you rise. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, open the shoulders, and lift the head. And exhale, draw the belly to the spine, tuck the tailbone, round the shoulders, drop the neck. 4 more of those with your breath. Inhale. Returning to a neutral position, feel that space that you've created as you discovered your range of motion in your pelvis, from tucking to lifting. Perhaps you wiggle back and forth a little bit, feeling that stretch in the pelvic floor. Just drawing your awareness to this part of your body that so often escapes our attention. And yet, it is the root of all of our stability and movement. On your next inhale, strongly root through the knuckles on the index finger, pressing into all 4 fingertips. Tuck the toes, and inhale, lift the hips skyward as you drop your head in between your shoulder blades and sink down, lifting the tailbone into the air. Now take a slight bend in the knees, see if you can lift the sits bones slightly higher. Perhaps you pedal the heels out here and there, but really focusing on rooting through those hands, all 4 corners of the hands, all 5 fingertips, pressing into those knuckles, feeling the way you can draw energy up from the ground, through the shoulders, and up into the hips. As you exhale, ensure you're activating your core to support your spine. On your next inhale, shift your weight to the left. Raise the right foot into the air, three-legged dog. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the right foot forward through the body weight and plant it between the palms. You can wiggle those toes forward if you weren't able to take a big enough step. And we're stepping into a low runner's lunge. So we're leaning that front knee over the front heel, extending through the left heel as it's lifted off the ground, really engaging the back body here, straightening the back, lifting the gaze. You may take blocks here if you like, planted on either side of the foot at whatever height is helpful for you. See if that allows you to just lean in a little bit more, find some more space in the pelvis, find a more neutral spine. Really think about bringing that heart forward as you root through all four corners of the foot. And on your next inhale, drop the left knee, untuck the toe, ground through that right foot, strongly pressing, root to rise as you lift your body up. Arms go above the head alongside the ears if that's comfortable for you. Or you may bring your hands to your hips, focusing on finding that stability through the front foot, grounding as you lean forward and press into the front of that left thigh. Allow yourself to explore what range of motion feels good for you here. Stepping the foot a little wider if you need to make more room for your pelvis. Focusing on the breath as you inhale. Exhale, bend the front knee, plant the palms up by that right foot, swing it back into a tabletop position. Firmly plant the palms underneath your shoulders as you shift your weight forward, tuck the toes, and lift into a plank. Pressing through those back heels to straighten the spine, slight bend in the elbows, rooting through those hands as you engage that core to support yourself. Inhale, shift the hips back, lift the heels, spread through the fingers and toes as you press strongly into the ground, lifting the tailbone up, downward facing dog. Take a slight bend in those knees, see if you can lift the tailbone just a touch higher. Pressing strongly through the knuckles in your hands. On your next inhale, shift the weight to your right foot. Send the left foot skyward, lifting, feeling that line of energy race toward the ceiling. And exhale, draw that leg through the front of the body and plant it up by the wrists. You can wiggle that foot forward if you like, getting a little wider step. Draw the knee over that left heel. Lengthen through the right heel, pressing up into a runner's lunge. Again, option to take blocks here. Option to wiggle, heel toe the foot out a little bit to make more space for the pelvis. Straightening the spine. Lifting the heart towards the front of the room. Engaging that back leg as you press through the heel. Think about really rooting through all four corners of that left foot as it stabilizes you. Drawing your energy up from the ground. Inhale. Drop the right knee to the ground. Untuck the toes. Root firmly through that left foot as you raise your body and shift forward, leaning into that right front hip. Again, option here to keep the hands at the sides or on the hips, or to raise them up along the sides of the ears. Find a small back bend here. That feels good to you. Really feeling that line of energy draw up through the front of the body. Breathing into that new space we're finding in the hips. Inhale, slightly straighten that front knee. Move your blocks out of the way. You can plant your palms towards the front of the mat. Wing that left foot back into a tabletop position. Spread the fingers, root strongly through the hands as you shift your weight slightly forward. Tuck the toes, and press up into plank. Engaging that core, drawing energy up through the palms of the hands, pressing through the heels. And on your next inhale, lifting the hips skyward as you drop the head into downward dog. Take a slight bend in those knees, lift the tailbone even higher. Pressing through the knuckles of the index fingers on your hands. Lift the gaze to the hands, come up onto the balls of your feet, and walk the feet to meet the hands. Exhale your body down onto the front of your thighs, rooting through all four corners of the feet. Just you lift the tailbone skyward, forward fold. Take a bend in the knees. Slowly draw up, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling the shoulders back, finding a neutral pelvis, palms facing forward, mountain pose. Take a minute here to draw your attention back to your breath, sending each inhale full of energy into the pelvic bowl, into the lower belly and back, and exhaling as they root and stabilize our body. Take a minute here to spread the toes and slightly grip the mat as you press down through the balls and heels of the foot, drawing energy up through the arches, through the legs, and all the way up through the spine and the crown of the head. Take a minute here and draw your attention to your perineum, to that seat of stability and flexibility in our body, the seat of the root chakra. And notice its gentle relaxation upon each inhale, and a light lift skyward upon each exhale. On your next inhale, step the feet wide, turn the heels slightly in, toes out, sink down, trying to keep a slightly neutral pelvis, coming down into a wide-legged squat. Elbows come to the insides of the knees for stability. Option here to grab a block to support underneath your sits bones. Our focus here is on finding that stretch through the pelvic floor and the inner thighs. giving them the space that they need to become strong and supple, to transfer the energy that we're finding from the ground up through the rest of our bodies. Again, notice your breath. Allow each inhale to fill the back of the body, expanding into those areas that might be a little bit tense. And with each exhale, reminding them to let go and allowing our bodies to sink into that rootedness in the ground. Finally, draw the hands to the floor, lift the sits bones off of the block if you were using one, and you'll come to an easy seated position here. Sitting back on the heels if that's comfortable for you. You're welcome to also place a blanket in between the thighs and the calves. If that's more comfortable for your hips. And again, just drawing your attention to the breath. The way you feel a gentle expansion down in the perineum on the inhales, and a light lift and tension on the exhale. Take one more deep breath, rolling the shoulders back, opening the chest. And letting go with that final exhale. Going to lay down on our backs. You may prop your head up with a pillow if you like. Coming down, pressing the sacrum into the floor as you extend your heels down. Letting the feet drop to the sides. Inhaling here, paying attention to the parts of your body that are connected with the ground. Breathing into that connection. Exploring the pressure that you feel as you contact the floor or the earth. Sensing the subtle sense of groundedness and rootedness that we draw from that connection. With each exhale, allowing your body to melt just a little further down to the ground. Allow your attention to turn inwards as you focus on the breath. Drawing it into that seat, that stability in your body, down into your roots, to the pelvis. And just noticing the space that you've created in your body today that may allow that breath to flow just a little bit more freely. Bring with it just a little bit more strength and power. as you return your awareness slightly to the room, introduce some small movements into the fingers and toes, a little wiggle. There's some wrist circles or ankle circles if it feels right to you. When you're ready, rolling over onto your side, tucking into the fetal position here for just a few breaths. When you're ready, planting one arm on the ground, push up into an easy seated pose. I'd like to take a moment to just honor that all the work that we've done on our mat here today, allowing ourselves to feel more connected through the roots of our body, finding the connection that we have to the energy we draw from the earth, from the breath, from the pelvis, and from the mind. All anchored to one another and linked through a chain that we can return to again and again as we need to throughout the day. I thank you for allowing me to guide you in your practice today. I hope that you can carry the strength and groundedness you've found in this practice with you as you go about the rest of your life this week. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.